In this tutorial, we're going to create an exploded working drawing of our drawer. Now before we start, we might as well just hide the things that we don't want to work with. So we're just left with our drawer. We're going to go into a different part of Fusion now. We're going to go into the animation part of Fusion. And you can see here that our screen has changed slightly. Basically what's happened now is we've lost some of our features, but we've also got this storyboard appear down here. You'll see this is the playhead, and we're going to play around with this a little bit down the track. Basically what we want to do with our drawer is we want to pull it apart basically. Now there's a few ways you can do this. Firstly, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select everything there on the screen. It does have an auto explode function, which we're not going to actually use, but I'm just going to show you just very quickly what it does. So you can see basically it sort of tries to interpret what it wants to do with it, and it pulls it all apart. And you've got some tools here that you can sort of play around with, you know, how much it pulls it apart. But it's interpreted a way that I'm not really happy with. The other thing you can see is it's put things down here on our timeline. Okay, so I'm just going to undo that. So we'll do it a different way. We're going to go manual explode. We're going to just explode or move a few components in our drawer manually. You can see the keyboard shortcut is the letter E. So I'm just going to press the letter E. I'm going to select the pull. I'm going to select this axis here, and then I'm going to play around with, so it's just automatically gone to maximum on the explosion scale. So that basically is no movement. This is maximum movement. I'm going to move it to about here and tick. And you can see it's put something down on the timeline there. Next one I want to do is the false front. So I'm just going to left click to select it. E. Got my little axis there. And for this one, I'm going to explode it to its maximum extent. So it just moves slightly off there, which is kind of what I want. Okay, now the side, again, keyboard shortcut E. We're going out this way. And again, I want that to go maximum distance. Same again here. So E, out that way, maximum distance, and go OK. Now you can see down here on the timeline, it's actually created this little animation for us. So before we go off to our working drawing, I'm just going to show you, how that can work. So I've got our tools down here for playing it. So we'll just play that, and you can see it all goes incrementally out. That's fine. The other thing you can do down here is if you want it all to happen together or more slowly or more quickly, you can play around with this down here on the timeline. Okay, now ultimately in terms of our working drawing, that's pretty much the layout that I want. That should give me nearly all of the information that I require. There's a couple of ways we can create a working drawing from an animation. An obvious way is to just go straight here to drawing, and we can actually create one from our animation. But because we've already got a drawing in existence, the better way for us to do it is to go up here and just go down and find the saved version of the drawing that you've got. So here's mine. So here it is from our last tutorial. Now to give ourselves more space on the screen, I'll just close the data panel. And you may have a warning up here. I don't have it on this one, but you might get a little warning sign up here to say that your drawing is not up to date. All you need to do is just click on up here and it will update it for you. So to start a new sheet, we just need to go down here to quick add, and we get a nice blank screen in front of us. Up to base view. And over here, our representation this time, instead of coming from our model, we're actually coming from our storyboard. Our orientation, well, let's just see what we get. No, that's not what we want. So we want front. So we've got that there. We'll put that down about here. Now the other thing too is at the moment it's coming in at 1 to 5 scale. Now we could go, in a way we should go back to 1 to 8, but in some ways it's probably better off for us to stay with 1 to 5 and change our scale down here later on. just because we're using our, our limited sort of amount of space on our paper better. So now that we've got that, we can go OK. Then we can go to our projected views. So we'll go up, there is our top view. And then we've got our right view over here. And we will give ourselves an isometric view up here as well. We can put some annotations on there. And once we've got that, we can press escape. Before we start dimensioning this, we need to understand that we don't actually have all of the detail on the screen yet that we need. So what we can do is we can select our main view, right click on it, go to edit view, and we actually change the style here so that we can see the hidden detail, and we'll close that. Now when we look at this, yes, this is quite useful, this is useful, this is useful. This is getting a little bit cluttered now. So again, we can just select that by left clicking on it, then right click, edit view, and we can actually change that one back. And then close. Now we're ready to start doing some dimensioning. In previous tutorials, we've covered how to add dimensions to a working drawing. So in this case, look at the dimensions that are here and apply them to the working drawing as you see fit. Also look at the title block and see how that has been changed as well. And how to do that is also in other tutorials. Now we almost have all of the information that we need. Sometimes dimensions are not the most efficient way to put information onto a page. We're going to move on to putting some annotations onto our drawing. But in the meantime, you can look at what's in front of you and add those dimensions to your drawing. Sometimes the most efficient way of conveying information is not through the use of dimensions. Now you can see here, I've actually put in a little note that relates to the dovetails here. I'm going to just show you how I've done that by putting in an extra note. So if we go up here to text, I'm going to put in a leader note. And in this case, I'm going to put one in, I'm going to select an edge, and I'm going to put one in that relates to all of the housings on the draw. So I'll select that edge. I'm going to go up to there. Just going to change the text size to 2.5. I find that 3.5 on this is a little bit too big. Click back over here again. Make sure your caps lock is on. It's a pretty basic word processor, so if you want a new line, you actually have to press enter. And close, and we'll see how that looks. That's pretty good. I'm kind of happy with where that is. Now, if you want to sort of move it around on the screen, you can just select it, and then you can move it like that. You can also move the edge that's been selected as well. By now, your working drawing should look like this. In the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a cut list, and also we're going to look at rendering techniques.